Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. It's your host Blackie here, and in this video we will be discussing the skills available to you in Stranded Deep, what they're useful for, and how you can level these skills. Here we go. Let's get the first questions out of the way. Are skills in Stranded Deep useful? Should you even bother leveling them? And the answer to both is yes. Skills are extremely useful and just make your life in this oceanic world so much easier. We will get into each skill, its uses, and how to level it, starting with the hunting skill. This skill is handy to level up to max because it allows you to do more damage with spears, the spear gun, bow and arrow, knives, and axes when used against animals. When this skill is at level 0, it takes somewhere between 5 to 6 crude spears just to take down one small boar. But if you have it on max level, it only takes 2 crude spears to kill a small boar. So your damage output is increased at least 3-fold of the basic number. Now, different items do different damage. The weakest melee weapon in the game is the stone tool, whereas the strongest melee weapon is the refined axe. Spears are a bit different because they both have a melee damage and a throw damage. The fishing spear is the weakest type of spear that you can craft. Its melee damage is equal to that of a crude spear, but its throw damage is significantly lower. The crude spear is also just as strong as a refined axe in either regard. The refined spear, however, has the highest damage output of all weapons, but only if it's thrown, doing around double the damage of a crude spear. As for weapons that are long range only, the bow and arrow and the spear gun have the same damage output. However, the bow has a durability stat, meaning it will break at some point, whereas the spear gun does not and has infinite uses, and it can be used underwater and on land. For a really nice and detailed overview, I suggest checking out the Stranded Deep wiki. Link is on the screen. The only way you can level this skill is by actively hunting. Traps and fishing rods do not count toward experience in this skill, so just go out and throw some spears at animals, hunt fish with a fishing spear, or chase after hogs and crabs with axes and knives. The second skill on the list is cooking. The reason this skill is so useful is because it allows you to eat less and still be full. If you should ever find yourself in a food crisis in late game and you don't have the time to hunt a shark or find some fruit to eat, this will prove invaluable. The higher the cooking skill, the more even a small meat will fill you up. Of course, this applies to all meats you cook, be it small, medium, or large. But keep in mind that this skill will not affect how much food you gain from non-cooked meals like canned food, fruits, potatoes, eggs, or coconuts. The only way to level the skill is being near the raw meat as it cooks. It does not increase if you are too far away from the fire or when the meat is cooked and is in smoking process. A rule of thumb would be if you hear it sizzle, you're learning how to cook. Next up, we have the harvesting skill. The only use for this skill is that it reduces the amount of hits it takes to harvest an item, which in turn saves you from losing excess durability with your tools and just generally makes the whole process much quicker. Do keep in mind that you will not get more resources from leveling the skill. It only reduces the time and hits needed to harvest the desired resource. The way to level this skill is simply by harvesting, be it chopping down trees, picking clay and stone deposits, whacking yucca bushes, or breaking apart logs for sticks. Coming in now is the physical skill. The physical skill is probably the most essential one available to players in-game, because not only is it very easy to max out, it also increases your maximum health, which in turn allows you to survive longer should you be poisoned or if you're bleeding after a shark attack. Not to mention, it allows you to take more hits from the bosses in this game, which do an incredible amount of damage. There are several ways to level the skill, and I find the quickest way is through building. Though keep in mind that the only type of building where you need to use a hammer to finish a process will add experience to your skill. For example, building your house. You place foundations, walls, floors, ceilings, and stairs, and then use the hammer to finish a project, which in turn ups your physical skill. The second way is by swimming underwater. Simply swimming on the surface does not add to your skill, but the moment you can see the breath icon at the bottom of the screen, you're adding to your physical skill. And lastly, we will take a look at the crafting skill. This is probably the second most important skill you need because it allows you to build more advanced items and buildings. On level 0, you only have access to the most basic items, like the stone tool, shelter, and a campfire. The higher level your crafting skill is, the more advanced items you gain access to, like the water collector, better raft parts, bricks, or the spear gun. The way to increase this skill is simply by crafting items. A fast and easy way to level this when you first start out is by building all essential things and then use excess sticks for spears. You will need a ton of spears in your playthrough anyway, so stocking up on those early saves you time in mid to late game. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is all there is to know about skills in Stranded Deep. If this has been helpful to you, hit that like button, and if you want more videos like this with tips and tricks or a full-on tutorial, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you all on the flip side of things.